Hello, hope you're well. Rob here from musicianonamission.com, and today you're going to learn the difference between reverb and delay, when you should use each, and I'm going to outline 3 key approaches that are going to help you to use reverb and delay to create depth, interest, and space in your mixes. Now, if you really want to learn how to use reverb and delay like a pro and nail this so that you don't have to worry about it in future mixes and it comes as second nature, be sure to download the free reverb and delay cheat sheet that I put together just for you because you're watching this video. And that's going to contain all the key information from this video and a bit more, and you can reference that in your mixes to make sure you get this right every time. And you can get that by either going to the link you see in the video now, the link in the description, or by going to musicianonamission.com/effects cheat sheet, all one word. Okay, so what's the difference between reverb and delay? When should you use one over the other? Well, both of these effects can be used to create depth and space in your mixes, but for me, there's one clear distinction. Reverb creates space while putting things further away from the listener, whereas delay creates space while keeping things near to the listener. So reverb is far, delay is close. And this is vital because even though they can both be used to create space, they sound very different and they have a very different psychoacoustic effect on the listener. And what that means is with reverb and delay, generally the end listener isn't necessarily going to pick up on this stuff on a conscious level at least, but they will pick up on it on a subconscious level. And when you use reverb on something, heavy reverb, it tends to make it sound further away. Because if you were standing in a room with someone and they were the other side of the room and they were talking to you, you would hear more of the reverb than you would of their voice. Whereas if they were right up in front of you, you would hear lots of their voice and none of their reverb. Whereas with delay, we can create a sense of space without having that reverb tail and making things sound far away. So that's the distinction. Reverb is far, delay is close. And we can break this down into several strategies, 3 specific strategies that I'm going to show you in just a second. But first of all, I want to give you a really obvious example of how reverb can create depth and space within a mix. Now, me and one of my best buddies, Jason Moss from Behind the Speakers, always use this track as an example. And I just want to give you a quick listen now. In the verse, you'll notice that Selena Gomez is really close and intimate to the microphone. It sounds like she's right there in front of you. But then in the pre-chorus, the back wall just kind of falls out and it opens up. There's suddenly this epic reverb in her voice, and suddenly the mix has this incredible sense of depth, and it goes from this really close sound to this really big sound. And this stark contrast makes it really obvious how reverb can be used to create depth. So let's have a listen.
Won't let one drop go to waste. Your metaphorical gin and juice. Oh, all of the downs and the uppers keep making love to each other, and I'm trying. All of the downs and the uppers keep making love to each other, and I'm trying.
So there's a few things going on there. It's not just reverb, there's some delay in there as well. But hopefully that gives you an idea now of what we're talking about when we say depth in a mix, because you can really hear it there. And listen back to that again if you really want to get a sense of that. So now let's go over each of those approaches. Well, approach number 1 is to use reverb to create space, but also create depth and put things further away. So I'm going to just show you in this mix. I've got a reverb set up. I've got a bit of EQ before it just to cut out the mud and some of the bottom, and I'm just using Untitled stereo room here. In terms of decay time, I really like to keep it below 2 seconds. Generally nearer 1 second. Long reverb times can very quickly clog up your mix, and you don't want to use them, especially if you're using liberal reverb. So if it's a slower track or a track that lends itself a bit more to having a more open reverb heavy sound, then you can go nearer to 2 seconds as long as it's not too fast. But if it's a faster track, or if it's a really dry kind of in your face track, then you definitely want to be nearer 1 second or below that. So let's just have a listen to actually what's being sent to this room reverb. So first, let's just have a listen to the track.
Long it goes on, I'll never know how long it goes.
Now let's listen to what's actually being sent to the room reverb. So we've got lots of keys and synthy parts in there, a lot of snare, backing vocals we can hear quite a lot, and then there's these other more kind of atmospheric sounds going on. So what I'm doing there is the things that I want to put further away from the listener, I'm sending to the reverb bus. And I've got it on a bus because then I can send multiple things. Any time-based effects like reverb, delay, you want to have them on an effects bus like this and use sends. You can see here, B20, that's bus 20, which is going to the reverb, to actually add reverb to stuff. So that creates this sense of space and depth, but anything I send to that is going to put further away from the listener. Let's listen to this if I bring it up really loud and mute it and unmute it.
Long it goes on, never.
And then without reverb.
Long it goes on,
With.
I'll never know how long it goes on, I'll never know how long it goes on,
So even then when I bring it way up, it's still quite subtle, but let's solo these things that are going to the reverb. And now let's listen. So this is without reverb. Or with. Without. With. So we're adding space and depth to those parts, but it has this effect, this kind of subconscious psychoacoustic effect of making them sound further away. So then we get to strategy 2, which is delay. Because what about something like the lead vocals that we want to add a sense of space to? We don't want them to sound dry and boring, but we don't want to use reverb because that's going to put it away. Remember, reverb far, delay close. So with the lead vocals, something that we want really in your face and up at the front of the mix, close to the listener, instead we're going to use delay. So let's solo the lead vocal. And let's listen to that without any stereo delay or mono delays, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And what we're doing here is, again, we've got a bit of EQ coming after it, just removing all the low end and the top end as well. Got some saturation just to make it a bit more exciting. But the main thing that's going on with the stereo delay is we've got a different time on the left and right. So 112 milliseconds on the left, 177 on the right. And that has the effect of creating a stereo sound because we've got different times on the left ear and right ear, and really low feedback. So it's just like one echo. It's a slapback delay. So this is without.
long it goes on, never.
Then we bring that in.
I'll never know how long it goes on, never.
Without.
I'll never know how long it goes on, never.
So now we're adding a sense of space to the vocal, but we're not making it sound further away. We're not really used to hearing things like this in the real world. So it sounds kind of unnatural in solo, but in the context of the mix, what this does is it creates a sense of space around the vocal, makes them sound a bit more polished, makes them sound a bit more realistic without putting it further back in the mix. So now we're using delay to create space, but keep things close. Remember, reverb far, delay close. So that's approach number 2. And normally I use this mostly on lead vocals, using a stereo delay like this. Sometimes if it's a guitar part or another part that you want to create a sense of space around, but you don't want to use reverb to put it further back, what you can do is just use a mono delay. If we just grab something like the tape delay, and we can just use directly on the channel, we can just have it at like 10% wet or less and just have a really quick delay. And what this does is puts it a bit further away from the listener, takes it a bit out of focus without putting it way back in the mix. And also another downside of reverb is just it gets messy. If you send everything to the reverb bus, it's going to start to get messy. That's why I think it's important to use short decay times. So sometimes it's good just to use a bit of a slapback delay like that. But let's get rid of that and move on to approach number 3. So approach 1 was reverb to create space and put things further away. Approach 2 was to use delay to create space and keep things close. And then approach number 3 is to just use either of those effects, reverb or delay, to add interest and character. Because we can think about these effects in 2 ways. Either as a subtle mixing technique. So here you can see my room reverb is really low. It's just subtly adding depth to the mix. Again, the stereo is pretty low as well, just subtly adding space to the vocal. But then also we can use reverb and delay as obvious effects. And sometimes you just want a load of reverb on the track because it sounds good. It's a creative decision. And also we can use mono kind of echo delays here on the vocal to add interest to the vocal. Let's go to a verse and listen to that. So I've just got mono delays here that are timed to the tempo of the track with some other cool effects going on.
Spinning with kitchen sink symptoms till I'm pale and white. And I'm still laughing at the paid-for prefect who fights my good fight. And it feels like I'm on fire.
So this shorter mono delay is being used just to add a bit more depth without being noticeable. And then we've got this longer kind of crazy flanger mono delay that's just being automated to. So if I go to the send and turn on automation, and we've got mono delay, you'll see the vocal is only being sent on the last word, and that creates that cool echo effect. So that's approach number 3, is using reverb and delay more as an obvious effect to add interest and character to the track rather than just a subtle mixing technique to create depth or space in the mix. So there are the 3 approaches. That for me is the key difference between reverb and delay. If you want an overview of each of those approaches and a step-by-step breakdown of how you can apply them in your own mixes, go and grab the free cheat sheet. I made it just for you, specifically for this video. It's completely free, and you can get it by going to the link you can see on the video now, the link in the description below, or go to musicianonamission.com/effects cheat sheet, all one word, effects cheat sheet. And that's going to help you to get this right every single time, so you never struggle to decide, should I be using reverb or should I be using delay? So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you found it helpful, and I'll see you again soon.